You wake up in darkness so complete it feels like you've been swallowed whole. Your head throbs, your ears ring with a high-pitched whine that slowly fades into something worse, silence. The kind of silence that presses against your eardrums and makes you question whether you're still breathing. Then you remember the blue chamber, the floor cracking beneath you, the stranger reaching out as the ground gave way, the sensation of falling through layers of earth and stone, and something that felt older than both. You push yourself up slowly, testing your limbs. Everything hurts, but nothing feels broken. Small mercy. The air down here tastes different, stale and metallic, like licking old batteries. You can't see your hand in front of your face. The darkness is absolute, but then you notice it. A faint blue glow, barely visible, pulsing somewhere ahead. It's not bright enough to illuminate anything around you, just enough to suggest that forward exists, that there's a direction to move in. You reach out, fingers brushing against rough stone walls on either side. The tunnel is narrow, claustrophobic, the kind of space that makes your chest tight even when you're not afraid of enclosed spaces. You start walking. Each step echoes strangely, like the sound is being absorbed and released at the wrong intervals. Your breathing sounds too loud in your own ears. The blue glow grows marginally brighter as you move toward it, revealing glimpses of the tunnel walls. And that's when you see them, symbols. They're carved directly into the stone, not painted or etched with modern tools. These marks look ancient, created with crude implements by hands that work slowly and deliberately. They're different from the symbols you've seen before, the ones in your house, the ones in the blue chamber. Those were geometric, almost digital in their precision. These are organic, wild. They curve and spiral in patterns that hurt to look at too long, as if they're trying to spell something your brain isn't equipped to read. You run your fingers over one of the carvings. The stone is cold and slightly damp. The symbol seems to pulse under your touch, or maybe that's just your imagination. Maybe that's just the fear working its way through your nervous system, making everything feel alive and hostile. The whispers start so quietly you almost miss them. At first you think it's just the wind moving through the tunnels, or water dripping somewhere in the darkness, but wind doesn't form syllables. Water doesn't shape itself into something that sounds almost like language. You stop walking and hold your breath, straining to hear. There it is again, a whisper, soft, distant, coming from somewhere deeper in the tunnel system. You can't make out words yet, just the cadence of speech. The rise and fall of someone trying to communicate. Your first instinct is to call out, to ask if someone's there, but something stops you. Some primal part of your brain that knows better than to announce yourself in the dark. You keep moving forward. The blue glow is brighter now, emanating from veins of luminescent material running through the stone like fossilized lightning. It casts everything in an eerie underwater light, creating shadows that seem to move independently of your body. The tunnel widens gradually, the walls pulling back to give you more breathing room, and the whispers get louder. They're still not clear enough to understand, but they're definitely words, definitely human, or something that used to be human. The voice sounds familiar in a way you can't quite place, like hearing someone speak in a dream and recognizing them without seeing their face. Then you hear it clearly. Your name. Someone ahead is whispering your name. Your heart hammers against your ribs. Every instinct screams at you to turn around, to run back the way you came, but you know that's not an option. The tunnel behind you could have collapsed. The stranger could be buried under tons of rubble. And even if the path back is clear, where would you go? Back to the surface. Back to a town that's been lying to you your entire life? No, the only way out is through. You press forward, following the blue light and the whispers that curl around your name like smoke. The tunnel begins to slope downward, the angle steep enough that you have to brace yourself against the walls to keep from sliding. The symbols grow more frequent here, covering every available surface. Some are small, no bigger than your palm. Others stretch across entire sections of wall, sprawling compositions that might be maps or warnings or something else entirely. The temperature drops. You can see your breath now, small clouds of condensation that glow blue in the strange light. The whispers have multiplied. It's not just one voice anymore. It's several, overlapping and echoing off the stone until you can't tell where they're coming from. They say your name. They say other things too, fragments of sentences that slip away before you can grasp their meaning. Return, remember, release. Words that start with R over and over, like a broken record stuck on the same section of a song. The tunnel opens suddenly into a chamber. You stop at the threshold, taking it in. The space is roughly circular, maybe 30 feet across, with a ceiling that disappears into shadow above. The walls are smooth here, almost polished, and they do something strange to sound. Your breathing echoes back at you from multiple directions, creating the impression that you're not alone, that someone is standing just behind you, matching your breath for breath. You spin around, nothing, just the tunnel entrance and the darkness beyond. But when you turn back to face the chamber, you hear footsteps, not yours. Someone else's. They come from all directions at once, a dozen invisible people walking in circles around you. The whispers crescendo into something almost loud enough to understand. Voices layered on top of voices until they form a wall of sound that presses against your skull. And then one word breaks through, crystal clear. Return. The echoes pick it up, bouncing it around the chamber, transforming it. Return becomes returning, becomes a dozen variations on the same theme. You cover your ears, but it doesn't help. The sound isn't just in the air, it's in the stone, in the blue light in your bones. Then you see it. At the far end of the chamber, something materializes out of the darkness. At first you think it's a trick of the light, a shadow cast by the blue glow, but shadows don't move like this. Shadows don't pulse with their own internal luminescence. It's a figure, humanoid, roughly your height. But where there should be features, a face, hands, distinguishing characteristics, there's just smooth, featureless blue energy. It looks like someone took a person and traced their outline in neon, then erased everything else. The figure stands perfectly still, watching you with senses you can't comprehend. You freeze. Every muscle in your body locks up, caught between the urge to run and the inability to move. The figure doesn't approach. It doesn't make any threatening gesture. It just watches, observes. Studies you with an attention that feels uncomfortably intense. You take a step forward. The figure flickers, its form destabilizing for a moment like a bad television signal. The blue light that comprises its body stutters and jumps, creating afterimages that hang in the air. But it doesn't move, doesn't react beyond that momentary disruption. You take another step. This time the figure vanishes completely. One moment it's there, a silent sentinel at the edge of your vision. The next, it's gone, leaving behind only a trail of blue symbols that weren't there before. They hang in the air where the figure stood, glowing softly, then begin to drift toward the far wall like leaves caught in a gentle current. You follow them. The symbols lead you to another tunnel entrance, this one smaller than the first. The blue light is stronger here, bright enough that you can see clearly for the first time since falling into this underground maze. The walls are covered in more carvings, but these ones are different again. Newer, they look almost fresh, as if someone carved them recently. As if someone is still down here, leaving messages. You're about to enter the new tunnel when you feel it, a vibration deep and rhythmic coming from above. The ground shakes, a low tremor that builds in intensity. Dust rains down from the ceiling. Small stones clatter across the floor. And then you hear it, a sound you've heard before, a sound that's haunted your nightmares since this all began. The pulse, deep, resonant, alive, the creature is moving. The blue light in the tunnel begins to fade, overtaken by something else. Red, a crimson glow that spreads across the ceiling like blood and water. The walls crack with thin spiderweb fractures that glow with the same red energy. The creature isn't just moving, it's coming for you, hunting you through layers of earth and stone. You run. The narrow tunnel forces you to move in a crouch, your shoulders scraping against the walls. The red light chases you, spreading faster than seems possible. The cracks multiply, branching and rebranching until the walls look like shattered glass held together by nothing but stubbornness. The pulse gets louder, closer. You can feel it in your chest now, a rhythm that doesn't match your heartbeat. It's trying to overwrite your pulse, to synchronize you with something vast and terrible and utterly inhuman. The whispers return, but they're different now, distorted, corrupted by the red energy that's flooding the tunnels. The tunnel opens into another passage, this one wider and taller. You straighten up and sprint, your legs burning, your lungs screaming for air. The blue symbols on the walls flicker and die as the red energy overtakes them, snuffing them out like candles in a windstorm. And you see it ahead. A door, not a modern door, not a wooden door or a metal door or anything that belongs in the 21st century. This is a massive stone slab, easily 12 feet tall and half as wide, covered in symbols. Blue symbol, red symbols. They're interwoven, creating patterns that seem to shift and change as you approach. The door reacts to your presence. The symbols begin to glow brighter, pulsing in time with your heartbeat. The blue ones shine with cold light. The red ones burn with heat you can feel from 10 feet away. You slow down, approaching cautiously, aware that the creature is still coming but unable to rush past this moment. When you're close enough to touch the door, the symbols rearrange themselves. They slide across the stone surface like living things, breaking apart and reforming into a new pattern. A familiar pattern. One you've seen before, burned into your memory during sleepless nights and anxious days. It's the mark from your house. The symbol that appeared on your wall, the one that started all of this. Here it is again, carved into ancient stone, glowing with combined blue and red energy. The door recognizes you, or it recognizes something about you, something you didn't know was there. You reach out and touch the symbol. The door responds immediately. The stone grinds against stone, a sound that echoes through the tunnels like the groan of a waking giant. The massive slab splits down the middle, the two have sliding apart to reveal what lies beyond. Light spills out, not blue, not red, just clean white light that seems impossibly bright after so long in the darkness. You shield your eyes, waiting for them to adjust. When you can finally see again, you step through the doorway and stop. You're standing in a chamber unlike anything you've seen before. The space is huge, cathedral-like in its dimensions, but instead of pews and altars, it's filled with machines. Old computers with screens dark and cracked, consoles covered in dust thick enough to write your name in, filing cabinets with drawers hanging open, spilling yellowed papers across the floor. This is an archive, a record of something that happened here, something that involves you.